For more than a decade, when you heard the name Danica Patrick, it was about more than just racing. She was this huge cultural force in a sport totally dominated by men, where every single move she made was blown up on social media. She wasn't just another driver, she was a genuine phenomenon.
Well, it's because her story is so much more than just wins and losses on a stat sheet. It's a story packed with groundbreaking firsts, unbelievable public pressure, and a legacy that, honestly, people are still debating and feeling to this day. So, what made her career so unique and her impact so complicated?
From the second she hit the mainstream, Danica Patrick was put under a microscope in a way that, really, very few athletes could even imagine. Every single race, every finish, every little mistake was analyzed to death, forcing her to perform while navigating this constant storm of public opinion. But, okay, before we dive into all that scrutiny, let's just lay down the facts. Her career was built on real, legitimate, history-making talent. She didn't just show up. She showed up and started breaking records. I mean, look at this. Her achievements cut across two totally different worlds of motorsport. Back in 2008, she made history as the very first woman to win an IndyCar race. Then, just 5 years later, she jumps over to NASCAR and bam, immediately takes the pole position for the Daytona 500. For 5 straight years, she was the only full-time female driver in the top-tier Cup Series, proving over and over that she belonged there. And get this, she didn't just win the pole for that Daytona 500. She actually finished the race in 8th place, which is still the highest finish for any woman ever in the Great American Race. This wasn't some fluke in qualifying. This was a top-tier performance on the biggest stage in the sport. You'd think that kind of success would quiet the critics, right? Nope. In fact, it often just made them louder. The whole conversation around Danica Patrick had this weird habit of shifting away from her performance on the track to, well, something else entirely. I mean, take this comment from the king himself, Richard Petty. He basically said the only way she could win was if everyone else stayed home. It's just a perfect, brutal example of the kind of dismissive criticism she was always up against, where all the attention she got was framed as being about marketing, not her actual merit as a driver. So you see what was happening here? You had these two completely different stories being told at the same time. On one side, you have her actual performance, a pole at Daytona, an IndyCar win, 7 top 10 finishes in the Cup Series. But on the other side, you have the public perception, where the focus was constantly being dragged over to her as a brand, as a woman in a man's world. So how did she handle all of this? Honestly, she stood her ground. Patrick knew there was a lot of noise, but she just refused to let it define her career. She got that being a public figure means you're gonna face judgment, and she kind of spun it as part of the conversation she was creating just by being out there on the track. But, when you really look back, her most powerful, most enduring legacy, it might not be something you can put in a trophy case at all. It might actually be in the drivers who watched her and came after her. It really boils down to the simple but super powerful idea: seeing is believing. For a whole generation of young girls watching racing on TV, Danica Patrick made a career in motorsport actually look possible. Just her presence on the grid, week in and week out, sent a message that you couldn't ignore. And hey, this isn't just some theory we're throwing out there. This is a real thing for drivers like Tony Breidinger, who's now competing in NASCAR's Talk Series. She says it point blank. Seeing Danica do it helped her believe that she could do it too. She saw it, so she believed it. Simple as that. And it wasn't just the up-and-coming drivers who felt this way. Industry legends saw it too. Team owner Richard Childress recognized her positive ripple effect on the whole sport, saying how important she was, and that he was hoping to find the next one. Okay, so here's the thing. Finding that next Danica has turned out to be way, way harder than anyone thought. Because even with all the doors Patrick kicked open, she's still a rare sight in the sport. And that brings us to her unfinished legacy. Let's put a number on it. As of right now, how many full-time female drivers are there across NASCAR's top 3 national series? Just 2. That's it. Years after Danica's career ended, the grid still looks pretty much the same. So the path forward, it's still incredibly tough. You've got talented drivers like Catherine Legg and Tony Breidinger fighting for part-time rides, and they keep hitting that same old wall, getting consistent sponsorship. And it's not just about finding the money. It's about sponsors who are still nervous about backing someone who doesn't fit the, traditional mold of a NASCAR driver. So here's the bottom line. Danica Patrick proved a woman could not only compete, but succeed at the absolute highest levels of American motorsport. She put up with all the scrutiny and inspired a whole new generation. And yet, we're left with this one big lingering question. If she kicked the door wide open, why is it still so darn hard for anyone else to walk through?